What if everything you thought you knew about Oprah was a lie? Karoline Leavitt just dropped leaked footage, financial receipts, and shocking claims that could end Oprah's legacy for good. This isn't gossip. It's a cultural bombshell, and you're about to see why. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. Something absolutely massive just dropped. And it's already sending shockwaves across the internet. For decades, Oprah Winfrey has been a household name, a beloved media mogul, a self-made billionaire, and a woman many viewed as the very symbol of hope, empowerment, and inspiration. She's been on our screens, in our homes, and even in our hearts. Whether it was her iconic talk show, her best-selling book club, or her influential interviews, Oprah has long been seen as a positive force in the cultural mainstream. But now, all of that may be changing. Why? Because Karoline Leavitt, a bold, outspoken conservative voice and former Trump White House staffer, has come forward with what she claims is undeniable proof that Oprah Winfrey has been hiding something huge from the American people. And she's not just speaking up. She's coming in with receipts. In a stunning appearance that has now gone viral, Karoline leveled explosive accusations against Oprah, saying that the daytime queen has not only used her influence to shape public opinion behind the scenes, but has done so with an intentional political and cultural agenda that, in Karoline's words, threatens the values that made America great. According to Karoline, the image we've all been fed of Oprah as a neutral, feel-good media figure is a myth, and the truth is far more concerning. She claims that Oprah is no longer just a celebrity or talk show host, but a powerful player working to manipulate how Americans think, feel, and act on everything from race to religion to freedom of speech. And that's just the beginning. Karoline's message came with actual documents, video footage, and insider revelations. In her report, she claimed that Oprah has been quietly backing organizations that promote censorship, political radicalism, and even policies that aim to divide Americans by race and class. She presented old footage of Oprah in private events, where she allegedly dismissed traditional American values as outdated and endorsed global narratives that don't align with the Constitution or free market principles. Leavitt didn't stop there. She explained that the media, Hollywood, and major institutions have all worked together for years to protect Oprah's image, shielding her from criticism and portraying her as beyond reproach, while behind closed doors, she was, in Karoline's words, part of the machine. So, what exactly is the machine? Karoline describes it as a network of elites, celebrities, tech moguls, media execs, and political insiders, who all share one thing in common: control. Control of what we see, what we believe, and what we're allowed to say. And Oprah, according to her, is deep in the middle of it all. The most jarring part of this story isn't just the accusations, it's the reaction. Within minutes of Karoline's video dropping, social media lit up like wildfire. Hashtags like Oprah exposed, Karoline speaks truth, and media manipulation trended across platforms like X, TikTok, and Instagram. Influencers, independent journalists, and everyday Americans began asking, is Oprah really who we thought she was? Or have we all been played? Karoline Leavitt is no stranger to political controversy. But this time, she struck a nerve that runs deep. For many, Oprah represents comfort, wisdom, and integrity. To hear that she may have used that trust to push a hidden agenda, that's hard to digest. But Karoline's boldness is forcing the country to stop and reconsider. Her mission, she says, isn't to cancel anyone. It's to wake people up. We need to stop worshipping celebrities as if they're untouchable, Karoline said in a follow-up post. These people are shaping your children's worldview, your moral compass, and the direction of this country, and no one elected them. It's time we start holding them accountable. It's not just about Oprah anymore. This story has opened the floodgates for broader questions. How many celebrities are quietly influencing culture behind closed doors? Who funds them? And why are we only just now hearing about it? As more people dig into the claims, one thing is becoming clear. This story isn't going away. In fact, it might be just the beginning of a much larger cultural reckoning. Whether you believe Karoline or not, the conversation is happening. And as more details emerge, one thing's for sure. The image of Oprah as America's trusted voice may never be the same again. So stay tuned, because this is more than gossip, more than headlines. This is about the truth, and who really controls it. According to Karoline Leavitt, the real Oprah Winfrey isn't the inspiring talk show host you grew up watching. She's something far more powerful and far more dangerous. In a jaw-dropping appearance on a conservative news platform, Karoline delivered what she described as a truth bomb the mainstream media has been too afraid to touch. And what she shared could flip the public perception of Oprah on its head. Karoline claims that Oprah Winfrey, long hailed as America's most trusted media figure, has for years been deeply entangled in political and cultural operations, designed not to unite people, but to divide them. Not to empower the average American, but to reshape what it means to be American. Let's be clear. This isn't just about opinions or ideology. This is about money, influence, and a coordinated effort to steer society in a direction that serves the interests of global elites, not everyday citizens. A web of influence. The alleged ties Karoline laid out a timeline of Oprah's evolution, from media mogul to what she now describes as a silent political operator. She shared clips and archived interviews that many people may have forgotten, or never even seen. But what makes this more than just speculation is the paper trail Karoline claims to have uncovered. According to her, Oprah has donated millions, quietly and strategically, to organizations that push highly controversial ideas around race, gender identity, and speech regulation. Some of these organizations have reportedly supported dividing school curricula by race and prioritizing equity over merit, promoting gender ideology in K-12 schools without parental consent, campaigns to pressure social media companies into silencing dissenting viewpoints, particularly those from conservative voices. In short, Oprah has allegedly been funding and empowering movements that seek to reshape American culture from the ground up, and not necessarily in a way that respects traditional values or open debate. Karoline didn't just list names. She showed financial records, tax forms, and grant disclosures from nonprofits tied to Oprah's personal foundation. Some of these organizations, she claimed, were directly involved in lobbying efforts to suppress online speech and even push for laws that would allow more government intervention in the media. Oprah's own network, a propaganda machine, Karoline, didn't stop with the funding trail. She also called out Oprah's own network, accusing it of being more than just a lifestyle channel. According to her, OWN has become a platform for one-sided messaging, often favoring progressive voices while shutting out conservative ones entirely. In one example, Karoline played a clip from an OWN special featuring a panel of so-called thought leaders who openly criticized the U.S. Constitution, claimed capitalism was inherently racist, and referred to traditional family values as oppressive norms of the past. That episode, and many like it, Karoline argued, show a clear pattern. Oprah is not hosting open conversations. She's platforming a movement. A movement, she says, that undermines free speech, demonizes conservatives, and glamorizes ideological extremism. She summed it up with a chilling quote. Oprah is no longer just a talk show host. She's a political player. And it's time the public sees it. The bigger picture. A media manipulation operation. What Karoline is describing goes far beyond simple bias. She believes what we're witnessing is a full-blown media manipulation operation, one designed to shift public opinion under the illusion of harmless entertainment. Oprah's shows, her interviews, her documentaries, even her book club picks. Karoline believes they all follow a subtle but powerful pattern of ideological conditioning. She called it emotional propaganda dressed up as inspiration. She went on to explain that Oprah's true power lies not just in what she says, but in how much trust the public gives her. People see Oprah as a safe, comforting voice, which makes them more likely to accept ideas they would otherwise question. That's why, Karoline says, her influence is so dangerous. Celebrities like Oprah have become gatekeepers of public thought, she said. And the worst part is, most people don't even realize it's happening. Truth or overreach? Naturally, Oprah's defenders were quick to respond, accusing Karoline of twisting facts and launching a politically motivated smear campaign. They argue that Oprah has every right to support causes she believes in, and that her network has always welcomed diverse perspectives, but Karoline stands firm. To her, this isn't about silencing Oprah, it's about pulling back the curtain. She ended her segment with this message: America needs to wake up. The people shaping your opinions aren't always who they pretend to be. And the more we blindly trust them, the more power we give away. Karoline Leavitt drops the bombshell. Proof in a dramatic and emotionally charged moment during her appearance. Karoline Leavitt stopped the conversation cold, and that's when she dropped what many are now calling the receipts heard around the internet. This wasn't just talk. Karoline came armed with never-before-seen footage, leaked documents, and hard evidence that she claims directly ties Oprah Winfrey to political operations aimed at shaping, and in some cases, controlling, public thought. And once you see what she revealed, you may never look at Oprah the same way again. Leaked video. Dangerous to democracy? One of the most jaw-dropping pieces of evidence Karoline presented was a leaked video clip from a private event where Oprah, surrounded by high-profile donors and media elites, allegedly mocked conservative voters and referred to them as dangerous to democracy. The clip, grainy but clear enough to identify the voices in the room, shows Oprah speaking candidly and unfiltered. At one point, she can be heard saying that certain segments of America are clinging to outdated ideas and threatening progress with their obsession over tradition. Karoline paused the footage and looked directly into the camera. This isn't a TV show. This isn't edited for ratings. This is what Oprah says behind closed doors, when she thinks no one is watching. The clip sparked an immediate outcry online, with many viewers shocked to see such a different side of someone they once considered a unifier. To her critics, it was the clearest sign yet that Oprah's brand of inspiration may come with a very specific ideological filter. Tax filings and donation records. The money trail. But it wasn't just words that had people talking. Karoline also brought forward real financial records, IRS tax filings, donation disclosures, and foundation grants that she claims reveal a much deeper story. According to the documents she shared, Oprah has donated millions, quietly, through private channels, to political organizations and activist groups known for their support of censorship policies, including campaigns to pressure tech platforms into silencing misinformation, which often just means conservative viewpoints, advocacy groups calling for new federal regulations on online speech, think tanks promoting the idea that certain dangerous narratives should be suppressed for the sake of social harmony. Karoline argued that while these contributions were technically legal, the intent behind them was deeply troubling. She's not just writing checks to charity, Karoline said. She's funding the silencing of the American people, and doing it behind the scenes so her image stays clean. She challenged viewers to think critically. Why would someone so powerful want to limit speech? Who benefits when only one side of the story is allowed to be heard? Own network controversy. Managing truth. Perhaps the most shocking moment came when Karoline played a clip from a controversial episode aired on Oprah's own network. A roundtable discussion with media professionals and so-called truth experts. In that episode, one guest makes the unsettling statement that truth should be managed for the greater good. Karoline stopped the video and shook her head. That's not journalism. That's propaganda. She explained that the very idea of managing truth echoes tactics used by authoritarian regimes to control populations. And she reminded viewers, once you start managing truth, you stop telling it. The discussion promoted the idea that open discourse can be harmful and that media platforms have a responsibility to curate public thinking. No mention was made of free speech, dissenting voices, or the First Amendment. To Karoline, this was proof of something more dangerous than bias. It was a window into the intentional shaping of reality through media influence. Truth versus control. The real battle Karoline made it clear that this isn't about left versus right. It's not just another political spat or cultural disagreement. This is about truth versus control. She explained that when celebrities like Oprah use their vast platforms to quietly influence what people think is acceptable, normal, or even factual, without full transparency, it's a betrayal of public trust. And even more dangerously, it creates a world where questioning the narrative becomes taboo. America was built on free minds and free speech, Karoline said. But if we keep allowing the most powerful people in media to shape our beliefs without being held accountable, we're giving away our most basic freedoms. Her final call: stop idolizing, start investigating. As the segment came to a close, Karoline looked into the camera and delivered a powerful message. We need to stop idolizing celebrities. We need to stop assuming that just because someone is rich, famous, or beloved, they're beyond scrutiny. No one should be above accountability. Not even Oprah. Her challenge was clear: be skeptical, ask questions, follow the money. And most of all, don't let celebrity status become a shield for bad behavior. The fallout from Karoline's revelations is still unfolding. But one thing's certain: the conversation around Oprah Winfrey has changed. And for millions of Americans, the question now is, who else is hiding behind the image of entertainment while quietly pulling the strings? As expected, the fallout from Karoline Leavitt's explosive exposé was fast, furious, and absolutely unavoidable. Within hours of Karoline's media appearance, the internet erupted into a storm of controversy. It wasn't just a trending moment, it was a digital earthquake. The hashtag #YourOprahExposed shot to the top of the charts on X, formerly Twitter, pulling in millions of views, retweets, and shares in a matter of hours. Some called it a reckoning. Others called it a smear job. But one thing was clear: Karoline had touched a nerve, and the reaction was massive. A nation divided. Again, social media became a virtual battlefield. On one side, conservative influencers, commentators, and everyday Americans rallied behind Karoline's claims. They praised her courage, calling her exposé long overdue, powerful, and just the beginning of the unraveling of Hollywood hypocrisy. Right-wing platforms lit up with reaction videos, deep dives, and breakdowns of the evidence Karoline presented. Prominent voices like Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, and Matt Walsh posted about the controversy, some even calling for congressional hearings into media influence and political funding by high-profile celebrities. But the backlash was just as intense. Celebs and media rushed to Oprah's defense. It didn't take long for the other side to respond. A-list celebrities, liberal commentators, and mainstream media outlets launched a full-scale defense of Oprah, denouncing Karoline's claims as politically motivated, out of context, and part of a broader conservative effort to discredit influential black women in media. Actress Whoopi Goldberg took to The View to call the video leaks misleading and selective. Media personality Gayle King, Oprah's longtime friend, went even further, labeling it a malicious attack fueled by envy and extremism. News outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and the New York Times ran headlines dismissing Karoline's segment as a conspiracy-laced performance and warned viewers about the danger of misinformation during an election year. But here's where things got interesting. The receipts hold up, sort of despite the denials and outrage. Something unexpected happened. Some of Karoline's claims began to check out. Several of the video clips and documents she referenced couldn't be debunked. In fact, a few were independently verified by third-party researchers and journalists, including The leaked video of Oprah at the private donor event, which was confirmed to be real, though the context was still debated. Tax filings and donation, records linking Oprah's foundation to advocacy groups that did promote online speech regulation, publicly available through IRS documents. Archived OWN network episodes that did indeed feature panelists saying, "Truth should be managed for the greater good." While Oprah's defenders insisted the full context painted a different picture, even neutral commentators admitted the clips weren't fake and the funding trails were legitimate. This gray area only made the controversy grow, because now, people weren't just debating politics, they were questioning who they could trust. Cracks in the crown. Oprah's image. Wobbles. For years, Oprah Winfrey has enjoyed an almost untouchable status. America's trusted voice. She's been seen as a symbol of wisdom, healing, and spiritual clarity. Her influence on culture has been profound, stretching from talk shows to presidential campaigns. But now, for the first time, that golden image is starting to crack. Even some longtime fans began to ask tough questions. Why was Oprah attending secret donor events with political elites? Why has she donated to groups involved in speech policing? Why haven't we heard about this before? One user on X put it bluntly, "I loved Oprah. But if even half of what Karoline said is true, I need to reevaluate everything." Another wrote, "Oprah's not cancelled. She's being confronted. There's a difference. Is Oprah cancelled? Or is this just the beginning?" Which brings us to the big question. Is Oprah really cancelled? The short answer, not yet. Oprah's empire is too big, her influence too deeply woven into culture for this to bring her down overnight. But what has changed is the conversation around her. For the first time in decades, Oprah's name isn't just associated with inspiration, generosity, and empowerment. It's tied to control, censorship, and elite influence. That shift alone marks a turning point in how America sees one of its biggest icons, and Karoline Leavitt? She's not backing down. She's already teasing more revelations, more footage, and more names in what she calls a larger project to uncover how media giants manipulate minds. If true, this may not just be about Oprah. It may be the first domino in a much bigger collapse, one that forces America to finally confront the quiet power behind its celebrity culture. Whether you agree with Karoline Leavitt or not, one thing is now crystal clear. The lines between celebrity, media, and politics have never been more blurred. And what Karoline just did wasn't just about Oprah. It was a call-out heard across the nation. It forced a long-overdue conversation. Who really shapes the stories we believe, and at what cost? It's bigger than Oprah. This controversy has spiraled far beyond one woman or one leak. Karoline's exposé struck a nerve because it peeled back the curtain on a much deeper truth. Celebrities aren't just entertainers anymore. They're powerful players in the battle for influence. In the past, we turned on our TVs to laugh, cry, and be inspired. But today, more and more Americans are waking up to the idea that some of those familiar faces may have quietly become political operators, shaping what we see, what we value, and even what we're allowed to say. Karoline didn't just throw a stone at Oprah. She threw a wrench into the gears of Hollywood's influence machine, and people noticed. A generation called to wake up. What Karoline is asking for is simple, but revolutionary in today's culture. Transparency, honesty, accountability. She's challenging Americans, especially young people, to stop putting celebrities on pedestals and start asking real questions. Who funds their platforms? What causes do they support behind closed doors? Are they entertainers or influencers with an agenda? Karoline's message to Gen Z and millennials was especially clear. Don't just inherit beliefs. Investigate them. She encouraged viewers to question everything, even the icons they grew up admiring. Because blind admiration, she argues, is exactly how powerful figures maintain control without ever facing scrutiny. Silence speaks volumes, And what about Oprah? So far, her team has issued no full response, no official rebuttal, no video, just silence, except for a few vague statements from unnamed sources calling the controversy overblown. But the pressure is mounting. Media outlets are now pushing Oprah for answers. Talk shows are debating the fallout. Polls are even circulating online asking whether Oprah should be held accountable or left alone as a victim of political attacks. In the court of public opinion, silence can be a risky move, especially when the evidence is still circulating. Will Oprah respond? Or will her silence allow the narrative to spiral further out of control? Either way, the damage may already be done. Celebrity power. Under the microscope, one thing's for sure. This isn't just about cancel culture. This is about media power and who controls it, celebrity influence, and what it's being used for, truth, and how easily it can be bent, twisted, or managed by those at the top. For decades, celebrities have held an unspoken power to shape public opinion without ever being elected, vetted, or fact-checked. And that's exactly the system Karoline is challenging. She's not saying Oprah can't have opinions. She's saying the public has a right to know when those opinions cross into hidden activism, political funding, or media manipulation, NOE. A world where tech platforms throttle voices and mainstream news filters facts through political lenses, the question of who gets to define truth is no longer philosophical. It's urgent. Is this just the beginning? Karoline Leavitt isn't backing down. She's already hinting that more exposés are coming, more documents, more footage, more names. She calls it the unraveling of elite influence in American culture, and she's not alone. Other influencers, whistleblowers, and researchers are stepping up. They're digging into celebrities, NGOs, media conglomerates, and so-called philanthropic empires to ask the same question. Are we being informed or manipulated? If Karoline's proof continues to hold, we could be looking at the start of a massive cultural shift, one that redefines how Americans view fame, media, and influence. And in that world, no one is too big to question. Final call to action. If this story shocked you, challenged you, or even just made you think, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a truth bomb like this one. And now we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Oprah should be held accountable for her influence, or is this just another political hit job with clever editing? This is your country, your voice, and in a time when truth is being managed, the only way forward is to speak up, dig deeper, and never stop asking questions. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay curious, and stay free.